Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bodyslams and Dropkicks, the wrestling podcast that is not uploaded consistently, but hey, we're here for you anyway. I'm Nathan alongside Ben.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Yeah, and it is time. It is time to do our lovely, and I heavily stress lovely, big long term, year long storyline predictions. But before we get into that, can we talk a little bit? Like sometimes there are a couple of things that supersede everything that we do here on podcast, and you mentioned a couple. The first one being Big E, and the second one being the continuation of the Bloodline storyline of last night. Can we talk about those
Well,
real quick?
also, Randy, obviously, this past week, it also has been told
He's
the
been
same thing.
rumored, but like, there's nothing
But
compared
I
to what we've
mean,
seen.
so at the moment, from what we know, both Randy Orton and Big E have been told to never wrestle again. Now, that doesn't mean that they haven't been like medically cleared or anything. It's just an advision.
Yeah.
You're just advising them not to, but yeah.
Uh, that's fair. That's a very sad day in wrestling, just to have Big E gone and Randy being told not to wrestle again. I'm assuming they're told that by medical professionals, though. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
And with as for the bloodline story continuing, unfortunately, everyone seems to be sick of it, except for one person or a small group of people. Let's call them Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns.
Okay. All
Paul
right.
Heyman has come out and said the bloodline story, if you thought it was going to end there, kind of nuts, basically. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
He said it's like a baseball game, I believe, and we're only in the bottom of the third.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. And someone behind the scenes has been told that the bloodline story will end when Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns say, fuck it, let's end it.
Who's your source? Who's saying this online?
Wrestle Talk told
Oh, for
me.
God's sakes!
I
It's
got yeah, I
credible.
watched I watched Wrestle Talk this morning.
Oh God,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
I believe their source was Sean Ross Sapp.
okay, so slightly more reputable than Meltzer.
Yeah,
Okay,
and Wrestling Insider, I believe, also had some reports on it as well.
yeah. So I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
Seriously, what?
Yeah.
Okay. So part of having a good story, part of having a good long-term story is knowing when to end it, knowing when the time is right to end it to the point where it will be most beneficial for the company and for the people involved.
Yep.
We are long past that. I'm sorry.
Yep.
At least from my opinion, I know from your opinion too. So to start off with, for those who didn't see it, over the last month, Roman Reigns took out Jimmy Uso, and this whole storyline, tribal court, everything, good or bad, was built up over the fact that Roman Reigns took out Jimmy Uso. I want you to remember that. He put him in an emergency room. Jay went on a tirade. He beat down Solo before SmackDown. He beat down Roman Reigns in the match, which, by the way, I'm sorry, the match was not that great. I've seen way better from these guys. Heck, Money in the Bank, the tag team match was better. But when it came right down to it, the fundamental turn was Jimmy Uso pulled Jay Uso off of Roman Reigns and super kicked Jay Uso. so that Roman Reigns could spear Jey Uso and get a 3 count.
Yeah, and here's another issue I have with that.
Yeah.
That whole story with Jay, Jimmy, Roman
Yeah.
was always that Jimmy would never turn his back on Jay.
Yeah.
There was no reason for Jimmy to ever
Yeah,
turn on Jay.
there's no premeditation, there's no foreshadowing, there is
But
nothing.
yeah, Roman and Solo take Jimmy out 3 weeks ago, whatever it
Yep.
was, 3,
Yeah.
like brutally take him
Three,
out.
4. Yeah.
And then he comes back and helps them.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
absolutely no reason for that. The story
There
so
there is no story. We're on the level of NWO now, where NWO has gotten so big that it's splintered off into NWO Black and White and NWO Wolfpack. And if you're thinking that the NWO storyline didn't go on too long, you're nuts.
Yeah.
The Bloodline storyline had 3 logical conclusions where everything could have ended now.
4 logical conclusion.
Okay, what was the 4th one?
The 4th one would have been Jay winning last night.
Okay. So my 3 were Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber, Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and Jey Uso last night.
Okay, so you're forgetting Drew McIntyre Clash of the Castle.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so that's the one you're missing.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
It had 4 logical conclusions.
Yeah. Every plot contrivance has been made now for Roman Reigns. This is
they seem to just be making more.
Yeah, there is no emphasis on good storytelling anymore. This is not good long-term storytelling. This is now beating a dead horse. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, and hear me out on this. Roman Reigns is going to take time off after SummerSlam. Your top feud on SmackDown is going to be Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso.
Nobody wants to see that.
It may go on a month. It may go on 2 months. Joe, no. Not even going to bother. Roman Reigns is going to come back either October or Survivor Series. Not sure which. He's going to defend against Jey Uso again. It won't matter because all the luster's been taken off of Jey Uso. Roman Reigns is going to win again. It's not to the point where you're reinventing the wheel or revolutionizing the wheel.
No, it's just boring at this point.
It is at a point where, I'm sorry, if you're the WWE, you've sunk so much into this. Yeah. So much into this, and you continue to week after week after week after week. I think it's more fear than anything.
Yeah.
With this particular story. And nothing against the Bloodline storyline. I've got my criticisms of it, but I think certain parts of it were great, but you're now starting to shit on those parts because you are so afraid of getting to a logical conclusion where most people are happy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. In my view, you had 2 where most people would have been really logically happy.
Roman Reigns has too much power and say.
Yes, he does. And we're now getting to a point where it's gotten tiring.
Yeah.
It's gotten bothersome. I don't want it on my screen anymore. It does not need to be on my screen anymore unless it is somehow, some way in some new context. That being said, it's now time for our year-long storyline in the impact of the Bloodline. Now, I want to preface this right away by saying this is very, very difficult. I'm not sure if that is why Dean's here or not. I don't know. I cannot say. But a lot of this is going to be just putting ourselves out there, seeing what other people think, offering suggestions, critiques, praises, what have you, over these storylines. I'm going to tell you, this is a very, very long storyline. it was very hard to write. So for the most part, I've got point form stuff, unless it's really important stuff that needs to be set out for mine. I'm going to start with mine because I know yours, and I think yours would be better served to go after mine to give people some levity because yours is really really good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure. Let's
I
go with
know
that.
his. I know his. So we were actually talking for about a month about what his storyline could be, and his storyline was always set in stone, based around somebody. But you're gonna have to wait to hear it. So this is mine. I want to preface this by saying it's purely fan booking. In order for this to work, you need a stupid amount of cooperation from Endeavor, WB, Discovery, Vince McMahon, all parties involved. And while on the surface, WWE would seem happy for all sides to be happy, in order to make a concession for AEW, Vince would need to have 17 heart attacks. But at the end of the day, Ari Emanuel only cares about numbers, ratings, merch sales, etc. If this helped accomplish this and he's happy, if NBC and Fox get a storyline that is spanning across both shows, they're happy. It's at least somewhat new. I'm
Yeah.
not going to say it's completely new or groundbreaking because I don't think you can have a storyline nowadays that is completely new or groundbreaking. So my caveats are simple. No CM Punk. He wouldn't participate. I don't want him. It's a win-win. No Impact Invasion with two exceptions. The first one's going to be if an Impact superstar crossed the forbidden door before, they may do it again, a la Mickey James. Or if an Impact superstar worked AEW on mini deals, aka the Good Brothers, they're eligible. There's one other exception to this, but we'll get into that when we get into that. And it's fully expected that other storylines will be occurring at the same time. Contrary to WWE popular belief, the bloodline isn't the only thing that matters. This will focus on the invasion storyline only. You go in with a pretext of Vince McMahon losing the bidding war of 2024. MJF stays with AEW. The Judgment Day at this point is Priest, JD McDonough, Dom Dom, and Rhea Ripley. My WWE champ is Sami Zayn. He won night one of WrestleMania 40 over Finn Balor. And the undisputed is Cody Rhodes. He wins night two over Roman Reigns. My women's champ at this time, the one that matters, is Rhea Ripley because duh. So my storyline is going to be using the WWE calendar unless otherwise noted. So week one Raw, it's the night after WrestleMania. Nothing of note here, except it's booked as if Vince McMahon is running the show. Similar to this past year, everything goes haywire, last minute decision, everything reported. Between Raw and SmackDown, the following things happen. Dirt sheets leak information on a meeting between Paul Levesque and Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel. It's said to be heated, him or me deal, as well as Nick Khan and Shawn Michaels acting as mediators. Like normal WWE releases, a statement calling dirt sheets ridiculous and the all clear happens before SmackDown. SD, the biggest thing to happen here is Roman Reigns stepping to the front of the line to challenge Rhodes and Walter challenging Zayn over on Raw. What's also important here is that the locker room morale is set to be low. A match is set between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania Backlash. Week two, Raw still feels like a Vince show. What is important here is Rhea Ripley delivers a promo saying a new era is dawning in sports entertainment, an era of light and enlightenment, and who will lead us to this new era but Dominic Mysterio, my Dom Dom, my Latino Heat, etc. Sami Zayn is set to defend his championship against Dominic Mysterio, week two of Raw, and Finn Balor, if necessary, at WrestleMania Backlash. Reports arise of Ari Emanuel backstage at Raw. We've got Zayn beating Dom Dom here, despite the odds being against Zayn. And again, dirt sheets are breaking news of Triple H, Ari Emanuel, Vince McMahon, what have you. And it breaks that Triple H is resigning on the NXT Tuesday. On SmackDown, not NXT, it's announced Triple H is going to be addressing the WWE audience. He comes out saying essentially, quite frankly, you are tired of having your intelligence insulted. Quite frankly, wherever you get your news, Meltzer, Sean Ross Sapp, Stu down the street has reported me leaving the WWE. And I'm here to tell you it's true. As of next Friday at 11:59 p.m., I will no longer be involved nor employed by World Wrestling Entertainment. It's been a fun 27 years, and I hope nothing but the best for this company's future endeavors. The next week is all dedicated to Triple H as Raw emanates from Greenwich, Connecticut. They roll out the red carpet. Flair and Orton thank him on Raw. Batista sends him a thank you message. In NXT, there's a promo where Triple H is saying goodbye to the NXT brand. Sean stops him and says, "You don't have to do this." Hunter and Sean banter, reminisce about DX, the good old days, what have you. Triple H asks Sean to come with him. Sean says he's caught between a rock and a hard place. Like it or not, Vince McMahon is the only boss he's ever known. Triple H smiles at Sean and says he knows everything he needs to now, and he hopes he can ride down the highway again with him someday. The news of Triple H's retirement and free agency hits Impact and AEW. Both sets of commentators mention it on Dynamite and Impact, respectively. Okay. SmackDown happens. Triple H says goodbye. WWE looks to a new pay-per-view. Dirt sheets rightfully come out at this time of low backstage morale, which is seen in non-specific rumblings on TV. For now, Backlash happens. Zayn and Cody retain their championships. All is well for now. This month was about establishing two things. The dirt sheets can be true and mentioned on WWE, and we want to give the illusion of Vince McMahon in full control, using Vince tropes or what we know or think we know. We want to plant seeds for the future because I think that's the most important thing. First week of May is going to be the Vinciest show I can think of, sort of an I'm in full control moment. With no pay-per-view to jump to, Roman Reigns will challenge Sami Zayn for the WWE title, and Walter will challenge Cody Rhodes a crown jewel in a no disqualification match. Women? Ha! There are no women, except Rhea Ripley, who says the Judgment Day is the crown jewel of the WWE. Much like maligned storylines, Kevin Owens is asking Sami for a title shot. Zayn attempts to give it. It's overruled by Pierce, acting on behalf of a higher power. Owens is pissed. So right about now, we're going to get some dirt sheet fuel, thanks to Dynamite. The Bucks are saluting Cody Rhodes with the Elite sign, and Cody Rhodes reciprocating it a couple of weeks later on SmackDown. Y2J and the Jericho Appreciation Society saying they're as hectic as DX and twice as good looking, and a deeper blonde than the Bloodline. It's AEW posing. It's always fun. So what's important in the second week of May is NXT Dominic Mysterio faces off against Axiom, gets interrupted by three men in all black who beat down Dom Dom and Axiom. The dirt sheets come out about superstars demanding additional protection. Vince brings out the APA on Raw because you have to screw with the dirt sheets at least once, and we have to allow Vince one moment of shining bright comedy. Otherwise, he'll never go along with it. Week 3, NXT stars Nathan Fraser and Wes Lee. They get attacked. It comes out on dirt sheets that it was a shoot. NXT are planning a boycott. Sean is with them. The next 2 weeks on SmackDown are taped because we have a Saudi show. Sean is advocating for added security, saying he had to give a couple of kids time off for blunt force trauma. Week 4 of NXT is a clip show because no one showed up for work. An average, ordinary, nothing wrong with the clip show, but that a mole is inside the confines of WWE, and that ruining shows are only the beginning, and that a greater plan is at work this weekend. It's announced by Adam Pearce that while the WWE has left for Saudi Arabia, NXT's reached an invasion and subsequent walkout of talent is something WWE is taking very seriously. Half of their ringside security is rerouted stateside, so NXT's stand and deliver can go on unopposed. Crown Jewel happens. Sami Zayn retains against Roman Reigns with an assist from Kevin Owens. Reigns takes time off, and during Rhodes versus Walter, Cody Rhodes is passed out, having narrowly survived an ankle lock from Walter. Walter is poised to hit a powerbomb, win the championship, etc. Lights go out. Masked men ambush Walter. It's no DQ. Once the damage is done, the masked men are chased by Imperium, and Cody Rhodes gets a sketchy win. It's announced that all 3 members of Imperium are injured, but should be ready to go by the next pay-per-view, Judgment Day. Ari Emanuel releases a statement that is from Endeavor denouncing the attacks and Vince McMahon for letting it happen. WWE releases a follow-up statement that Vince and Ari Emanuel are set to meet on Monday. The following week on Raw, Kevin Owens asks again for a match against Sami Zayn, but is passed up again by management for Damian Priest. Sami tells KO he'll get it next time. Cody Rhodes releases a statement that he has no idea of the attack, and if there's one thing he's learned about Walter and Imperium is that they're tough SOBs, and what happened sounds like wrestling he wants no part of. He offers Walter a title opportunity as soon as Walter recovers. That circulates through everything, may have even being referenced by the WWE. Shawn Michaels is scapegoated for the lack of security. NXT gets reduced security to protect the main roster, but a guaranteed spot for NXT in the men's and women's Money in the Bank is offered as a concession. Rumblings of low morale and conflicting reports on the Vince McMahon meeting with Endeavor throws everything into turmoil. One thing is for sure, Vince McMahon has said nothing will go wrong in the future, and for the next few weeks, there's no invaders. Pierce is feeling as good as a punching bag can, but none of that matters in the WWE zeitgeist. Money in the Bank is coming. The women's match looks like this. It's Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair versus Emma versus Zoe Stark versus Dakota Kai versus Alexa Bliss versus Roxanne Perez versus Raquel Rodriguez. And the men's match is Dominic Mysterio versus Axiom versus LA Knight versus The Miz versus Ricochet versus Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor versus Bronson Reed. He is no longer Big Bronson Reed. That is a mistake. Those are terrible nicknames, and they deserve to go rotten hell. Throughout the month, mum is the word on the meeting between Vince and Ari Emanuel. You do this to get people checking on the dirt sheets who can still report on other storylines with varying degrees of success. But it will allow us to go after the dirt sheets and use them in the future if the metrics are there. The champs retain Sammy again with the help of Kevin Owens, and the women's Money in the Bank winner is Emma, men's is Axiom. We hear Michael Cole saying that it's the dawn of a new era. This is what you need to be a fan of the WWE, baby. Axiom has been dreaming of this moment for 2 years, whatever, until something unexpected happens. Axiom removes his mask to reveal Adam Cole, who is chased out of the Money in the Bank arena. Dirt Sheets and WWE are noting that Ari Emanuel is furious, not just at Vince, but at the entirety of the WWE operation, which he will address Monday night on Raw. It's at this point Dirt Sheets have noted that Ari Emanuel reached out to Triple H personally, who declined to comment. The next month leading up to Judgment Day, Ari Emanuel comes out and lambasts WWE under Vince's leadership, indicating he personally approved the purchase of WWE, knowing its history of unpredictability, and since Endeavor's full takeover, he has seen nothing but strife. He tells fans not to take this the wrong way. He loves that they enjoy the WWE, but he hates cleaning up someone else's messes. To that end, he tells the audience that a deal was brokered with Tony Khan to allow Adam Cole to compete on WWE television while he holds the Money in the Bank briefcase, and suspended its power for 8 weeks. This is because Adam Cole must compete against everyone else within the Money in the Bank and Walter. Matches could be on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or pay-per-views. If Adam loses, he will lose the briefcase and can no longer appear. However, if he makes it through all 8 matches, Tony Khan will receive any favor of his choosing from Ari Emanuel and Endeavor. This is done to give AEW some exposure. We've got a well-known WWE guy who Vince McMahon mishandled. This is where Dynamite and Rampage get involved. Specifically, JR and Shivani recapping Money in the Bank, calling Adam Cole a heroic crusader. MJF now roasts the shit out of them by saying Adam Cole is going to put that second-rate hack job to shame because he teamed with MJF, running down both Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, and all of the Money in the Bank competitors. Adam takes down Miz, Dom, Ricochet, and Finn before facing Kevin Owens at Judgment Day. But the following Judgment Day, specifically Rhea Ripley, says she doubts Adam Cole is the only one in WWE's crosshairs, that her, Priest, McDonough, and Dom know that the original invaders were not Adam Cole, and that there are only 3 men in any company who like to dress in black and be as hackneyed as they were supposed to be before Rhea and Finn took the Judgment Day by storm. Rhea calls out the House of Black. The only response is Zelina Vega, who says, Rhea, what in the blue hell makes you believe the House of Black are here in WWE? I'll tell you what, though, I'll make it perfectly obvious that you are too afraid to have judgment pass on you. Right here, right now, tonight, I want a shot at the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Rhea accepts, and unsurprisingly, towards the end of the match, Dom assists Rhea in framing Zelina for a loss. The Judgment Day surround Vega before the lights go out. When they come back on, the House of Black are inside the ring, face-to-face with the Judgment Day to protect Zelina Vega. An 8-person intergender match is set for the Judgment Day pay-per-view. WWE Judgment Day versus House of Black and Zelina Vega. At this point, WWE allows Judgment Day to start doing podcast appearances, hyping up the Judgment Day pay-per-view and the 8-man tag. Why? Because WWE almost never bloody does this outside of their own network. And when they do, it's always newsworthy. It's always gangbusters. AEW also allows House of Black to do podcast appearances denouncing the Judgment Day, how they were the first invaders of NXT, and how they were a higher power. One of the interviews I'd have here is Bodyslams and Dropkicks Dean Connolly asking Zelina Vega if family is more or less important than Federation to you. Partly because I want to see if Dean could keep it in his pants long enough to ask the question, and knowing that podcasters can also be the spots of exposition dumps rather than Michael Cole could help everyone. Regardless, Judgment Day looks like this. Sami Zayn beats Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship without Owens shenanigans, though Owens does ask Sami if he needs him in his corner. I need to make Sami look strong. And Cody Rhodes beats Jey Uso for the Undisputed Championship. Adam Cole beats Kevin Owens thanks to MJF, and the Judgment Day lose at Judgment Day when Malachi pins JD in an 8-man tag. It's Raw on the build to SummerSlam, and the dirt sheets are that Vince McMahon is irate that an all-talent meeting will be held. He cannot allow any more foul-ups from that pissant company ruining his show. This is shades of the meeting he had the original Invasion, because it's always nice to throw out a bone here or there. Adam Pearce begins the men's meeting as an open forum to be interrupted by Vince McMahon coming down to the ring. Pearce gets dismissed. Vince says he hired them, made them into stars, and this is how they repay him. Vince reminds them how he killed WCW, but then again, he had stars and sluts reaching for that brass ring. He acknowledges that it seems like he's losing a battle, but that Vince McMahon hasn't lost in his life, and neither can they. Sami Zayn, Vince's WWE champion, then pipes up and says maybe the reason AEW got the jump is that Vince McMahon didn't listen to which Kevin Owens takes over, to the thousands of voices in his ear, telling him about superstars, telling him about requests, telling him time after time after time after time that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens should fight for the SummerSlam World title, that Sami Zayn has beaten every challenge, so why not beat the guy that almost beat Adam Cole? But then acquiesces it'll never happen. Vince McMahon says that Kevin Owens should never talk to him like that again, and orders Sami and LA Knight out of the ring. LA Knight is Vince's next opponent for Adam Cole on SmackDown, and he should be his top priority if he values his life. Sami Zayn is the WWE champion, who says he's defended his championship against every opponent Vince has thrown his way. He may not like Sami, but he does respect that accomplishment. The rest of the superstars are in the ring, much like the old Ruthless Aggression promo days. Vince says the slate is wiped clean. Every superstar in the ring is to participate in a battle royale for the number one contendership to Sami Zayn's championship, which is won by KO, with Sami looking on excited. Dynamite is Adam Cole and MJF talking about the value of friendship, and that Adam Cole ever needed MJF's help, MJF would go to the lazy pissant company, who would be lucky to manage the superstar that is Adam Cole. And that when Adam Cole wins his WWE World Heavyweight Championship, he may as well defend it where the big boys play. SmackDown rolls around and Adam Cole beats LA Knight in a banger. The following Raw, Adam Cole meets Kevin Owens in the locker room, where Adam tells Kevin Steen that it'll be an honor destroying Generico once this business is set, and it's good to have friends in the right places, before going out and being Bronson Reed on the following Raw. At that time, Adam Cole versus Walter at SummerSlam for the Money in the Bank briefcase will kick off the event. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are having a Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero-esque feud at the time, with Kevin getting more and more agitated at Sami's wins, helped out by the fact that Adam Cole is getting under Kevin Owens' skin, to the point where KO has got to do something about it. The Dynamite before SummerSlam, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn interrupt MJF and Adam Cole, the first time WWE superstars cross over to AEW, and they say the time for talk is over, the time for fighting is now. They get into a brawl, hopefully allowing Kevin and Sami to blow off some steam. Dirt Sheets break the news of the rumbling of a tag team match main event on SmackDown, that a further talent arrangement has been made, etc. And on SmackDown, it's proven true. Essentially, what's going to happen is Adam Cole and MJF versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn on SmackDown, in which Zayn and Owens win due to a distraction from Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser, who announced that the longest reigning Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion of all time is back. Believe it or not, I'm going to have WWE have this win here because Adam Cole is looking a tad too unbeatable, and I want to build up some intrigue. SummerSlam arrives, and some of the important matches are Adam Cole beating Walter in the show's opener, Rhea Ripley beating Zelina Vega, and Sami Zayn beating Kevin Owens in a bloodbath. Neither man can stand after it. Sami Zayn offers KO a hug. KO accepts before a low blow from Owens to Zayn, and a pop-up powerbomb allows Adam Cole to sneak in and steal the WWE Championship from right under Vince's nose. The next night on Raw, Vince McMahon demands Kevin Owens and Adam Cole. Kevin Owens arrives and says, "Do you really think I was going to be fine being passed over?" Well, the more I thought about it, the more it made my blood boil. Guys like me, guys like Cole, guys like Danielson, Claudio, Joe, those were my friends. That was my life, and you didn't give a damn about them because they weren't your Samoan sweetheart. Newsflash, you failed the fans, you failed the WWE Universe, you failed the people in the back, and each and every one of you need to shut the hell up because you're still watching this garbage. Owen lays into Vince. Vince fires him. He then demands Adam Cole to the ring. Adam Cole appears on the Tron saying that he doesn't work for Vince and that anything he wants to say to Adam Cole, he can say to Tony Khan live when he defends his new WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Jon Moxley and MJF on AEW All In. Live from the one place Vince McMahon hadn't had the balls to go to in 32 years, Wembley Stadium. Until then, he'll take his championship and go. Vince is irate. Dirt sheets are going nuts on speculation as to Adam Cole's contract situation. Cody Rhodes is going to be facing Walter in a 60-minute Iron Man match at Unforgiven, but Unforgiven doesn't matter at this point in the grand scheme of things. And here's where we get to Impact. So the dirt sheets report that Vince McMahon and the WWE board of directors hold a meeting in order to decide how to handle the Adam Cole situation. Again, Adam Emanuel is furious, and if Vince McMahon doesn't get a handle on things, Ari Emanuel will replace him. Vince can't afford the idea of WWE superstars to all out, so he seeks out the help of talent scouts. These talent scouts are Mark Calloway, Shawn Michaels, John Laurinaitis, Road Dogg, and Sean Waltman to figure out ideas. It's here where Michael suggests Impact Wrestling, saying he had a cousin that wrestled there in its heyday. Its exposure isn't there, but it's good talent. Waltman and Road Dogg concur, while Laurinaitis touts people power and Omos, the man of the people. Laurinaitis is quickly fired as Vince has a small moment of clarity. It is set that Adam Pearce will meet with Scott D'Amore in the Impact Zone next Tuesday. On Impact, Pearce does his damnedest to broker a deal, but Josh Alexander, Impact World Champ, interrupts and says no. Mickie James laughs in his face, telling him to take his shit and throw it in a garbage can. Deonna Purrazzo says that when Vince is ready to be a man and talk to himself, he can show up. All this is being done to throw fans a swerve. Impact, for the most part, is not set to be a part of this. When this fails, Vince says essentially, I'm going to need some guys. We're going to skip straight to All Out. It's main evented as advertised. Adam Cole versus Jon Moxley versus MJF. The three men battle each other to the point of near exhaustion. Cole beats Mox and MJF by pinning MJF for the 3 count. Adam Cole rolls out of the ring as Vince McMahon's theme hits, and he shows up for the first time on AEW, saying, "You people want a war? This is a war." Vince McMahon leads superstars down to the point where Adam Cole is surrounded, most notably by The Miz, Sheamus, McIntyre, Theory, all of the Judgment Day, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, the Usos, Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa, and anyone who conceivably Vince McMahon could have made as stars. Adam Cole then grabs the mic and says, "What I went through was a war. This we knew was going to happen, so we were ready." From the barriers hops Tony Khan, Kevin Owens, House of Black, Bryan Danielson, Claudio, Samoa Joe, Christian Cage, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Chris Jericho, and the Jericho Appreciation Society. Anyone who Vince McMahon could have screwed with at AEW. AEW All Out ends with a brawl to end all brawls, only to be broken up by "time to play the game." Triple H walks down through the wreckage, trying to escort Vince before meeting him face to face in the ring and delivering him an earth shattering pedigree. The crowd goes nuts, the fan goes nuts, and AEW All Out fades to black with Triple H, Tony Khan, and AEW standing tall. Raw After All In starts with a replay of the brawl from last night before Break the Wall Down hits as AEW's Chris Jericho breaks his way down to the ring to a thunderous chorus of cheers. After drinking it in, Jericho says, just like in 2019 when I went over to All Elite Wrestling to deliver a message that alternatives are here, I have been asked here to say two things. Number one, welcome to Raw is Jericho! And to whoever is in charge around here, whether it be Vince McMahon, Ari Mel, my good friend Shawn Michaels, or that stupid idiot Adam Pearce, to tell them that Tony Khan and Triple H will be requesting each and every one of them to tune into AEW Collision immediately following Unforgiven. If they're asking why Hunter, why? But if they missed Dynamite last week or WWE the last couple of months, bar one slight blemish that was rectified at SummerSlam, AEW has gotten the better of WWE week after week after week and will continue to. So really, burn it down hits as Seth Rollins makes his way to the ring. He makes light of Jericho's Appreciation Society, that he had a brotherhood once, and that his favorite brother is currently working for AEW. Chris Jericho versus Seth Rollins is set for Unforgiven. In the meantime, Sami Zayn calls out Kevin Owens because Sami is his brother. Imperium also demands House of Black, saying it won't matter if Cody is truly playing fair. If the House of Black interferes with Walter's coronation, and if they have any guts, House of Black will be facing Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci, and Dragunov, also at Unforgiven. The rest of Raw goes off without a hitch. Can I take a breath yet?
Yep.
Okay, what do you think so far? That's about the halfway point.
That's about the halfway point? You've been past SummerSlam. How's that only the halfway point?
Trust me.
There's just a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
It's honestly just difficult for me to say really much of anything. You've thought it through pretty thoroughly, and
yeah,
I'm trying to think of something I could say, but I'm like, I don't know where this is going, so I can't really say much.
Fair enough. So we'll continue on here. Dynamite sees Tony Khan taking a call for the next few weeks. We get much more NXT-oriented programming. Adam Cole is the new WWE champion. He invites WWE guys to come to AEW to try to take back their championship, which is taken up by guys like Jey Uso, AJ Styles, Theory, Karrion Kross, etc. He promises so long as he's the WWE champion and that Tony Khan and Triple H are in charge, true worthy challengers will always be welcome here. Punk is nowhere to be seen because and the Elite continue to make reference to Cody Rhodes in the weeks following up to Unforgiven, saying that this has been in the works for a long time and that there is a traitor in the ranks, yada, yada, yada. Unforgiven happens and it looks like this. House of Black beat Imperium, who are now too exhausted to help Walter. Chris Jericho's Jericho Appreciation Society appears, and it beats Rollins due to shenanigans. Kevin Owens beats Sami Zayn, and Walter and Cody go to a time limit draw. What's important here is that they want to go to a sudden death, but Vince, fearing AEW, calls it off, so Collision can go off unimpeded. Collision hits with Triple H, and it's a therapy session because we're AEW and a PG-13 rating. HHH is free to bring up anything. The sex scandal, Vince's hostile takeover, the firing of his daughter, the giving out of his heart to the business, dealing with the tyrant when he went to Ari Emanuel with the him or me deal. Dirt Sheets predicted he brought all of this to Ari. He knows how unhappy the WWE superstars are, and why shouldn't they be? Under Vince, the place went to hell in a handbasket because he can't let go. Triple H then tells the story of a time in '97 when he and Shawn Michaels made a pact that if either one of them were riding down the highway together and thought the other one didn't have it, they'd tell them. It would then fall on the other one to either end it on their own terms or we'd end it for them. Vince McMahon has been told he doesn't have it since the days of the Nexus, and after over 10 years of not listening, Triple H decided it was time to end it for him. They tried forcing it out, he tried the legal system, but that the only way Vince knows is inside of that ring. It is then when Tony Khan takes over and says, Vince, Wednesday night I was in a conference call with your boss, Ari Emanuel, and he and I agreed that at your Survivor Series there's going to be one match for control of Monday Night Raw. 4 of yours versus 4 of ours in a Survivor Series elimination tag team match. And that Tony expects Vince's answer by the end of the next WWE pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell. Until then, it's complete open door. AEW can and will appear on WWE, and if any of your guys have the guts, they'll show up here. From here, dirt sheets are going into pure speculation mode. Vince begins to fear everything. When Vince fears something, but his back is not against the wall, Vince almost always panics and makes the wrong move. He inserts Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes into the main event of Hell in a Cell. He then orders Omos, Otis, and anyone over 6'6" to be standing guards at all times. AEW can attempt to get in if they feel like it, but if they do, it will be met with hell. Cody Rhodes, much like Adam Cole for the WWE Championship, puts it on notice that anyone who wants to come get some. We then get a prompt to Cody Rhodes versus John Cena match, because of course we do. But Cody Rhodes takes on the likes of Cesaro, Switchblade Jay White, Nick Wayne, and Sammy Guevara to start. Anyone who has penchant for being talented in the ring. Well, Roman criticizes Cody because if he were champion, he wouldn't need to prove it. It was proving it that got Sami Zayn to lose the belt to AEW in the first place. But yet no one from AEW has beaten or even laid hands on the Tribal Chief. Cody then corrects him by saying any one of those top guys took Cody to the limit, and Cody beat the Tribal Chief not once, but twice. And at Hell in a Cell, Cody's going to beat Roman again. AEW doesn't have to beat Roman. His own federation is doing it quite easily. Vince, hearing this, panics and wants to stack the deck against Rhodes and AEW. Akin to planting a seed that makes the alliance crumble from within, Cody Rhodes is going to be interrogated by the locker room, put up against Roman and Solo in handicap matches despite his protest, have another match against Walter, stop prematurely, what have you. Every choice that Vince McMahon makes now is because of competition. And what is perfectly clear is that this isn't the same WWE of 2001, and that fans should be afraid, very afraid. Hell in a Cell looks like this. Adam Cole defends the WWE Championship against Braun Breaker, because I want to start building new talent. Rhea Ripley retains in a hard-fought match against Becky Lynch, because it's one of the few matches left we have to see. Charlotte Flair loses to Asuka, who retains her women's championship, and in the main event, Roman Reigns beats Cody Rhodes. Thanks to a 4-on-1 assault from a reformed bloodline, Hell in a Cell ends with Vince gloating and saying that the bloodline is the greatest creation of the modern era, all created, woven, and envisioned by one man, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. There is no force elite enough to destroy the bloodline, and when they destroy Tony Khan's team at Survivor Series, Vince McMahon will destroy the competition one more time. Battle cry hits as Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Hangman Adam Page walk to the ring. Kenny takes the mic from Vince saying, "You created the bloodline, but the elite forged our own path and made ourselves big enough to create the competition that's going to take the WWE by the throat and choke it to its very foundation. And at Survivor Series, the elite will take Vince McMahon's precious Monday Night Raw away from him, just like he took the air out of their friend's body tonight." The match is set, the elite versus the bloodline, but both Vince, or more so Ari Emanuel, and Triple H are sporting gentlemen. A talent exchange program is announced between Ring of Honor and NXT thanks to the Senior VP of Talent Relations, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H. Statements are released around the web. Vince is ordered out of an Endeavor board of directors meeting. Endeavor does not condone the actions of Vince McMahon, and similar to Judgment Day, podcasters, dirt sheets, etc., are flooded with content from WWE and AEW. AEW and WWE trade wins in a dead heat at Survivor Series. Solo and Jimmy lose to Omega and Nick Jackson. Jey Uso wins against Hangman and Matt Jackson. What happens Oh, sorry, this is on the build up to Survivor Series. What happens in the Dynamite before Survivor Series is Vince McMahon leading a troupe of WWE superstars into AEW, and we get something similar to Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman in 01, with Tony Khan saying there's a new kid in town, and he brings up Vince's lesser known endeavors, the XFL, WBF, Raw Underground. Vince McMahon brings up how he can't believe he's going to be fighting a war with a child playing around with his daddy's money. That WWE, just like the Monday Night Wars and Invasion before it, is going to win this one too. And when he does, he'll never be seen around this pissant company again, unless he decides to bring, being the successful businessman he is, to buy it and run it out of town. Meanwhile, Adam Cole says if the forbidden door is truly open, then it should theoretically allow AEW to make matches on a WWE pay-per-view, and that he and his good friend MJF need to show the WWE fans what true friendship is about. WWE tries to plant seeds with MJF across all AEW programming. Loads of fights are happening. The Blackpool Combat Club taking Judgment Day to school. Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker having matches against Becky Lynch and Zoe Stark. Danhausen declaring himself sole survivor and that he will gladly donate the bodies of Bloodline to his local taxidermy museum. I don't know. And again, because Triple H and Shawn Michaels are such good sports, Survivor Series is mostly WWE versus AEW. Akin to the original pay-per-view, Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone will join Michael Cole and Wade Barrett on commentary. The color scheme is changed to white, red, black, and gold. And Survivor Series looks like this. Sami Zayn defeats Kevin Owens for the number one contendership to Adam Cole's or MJF's championship. Britt Baker defeats Zoe Stark. Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Theory, Carmelo Hayes, and Dragunov defeat Chris Jericho, Santana, Garcia, Hager, and Menard. In the mid-card, Rhea Ripley defends against Charlotte Flair and is then cashed in on by Emma, who reveals that she has reverted her in-ring name to Tennille Dashwood. The Acclaimed defeat Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Walter defeats Samoa Joe for the number one contendership to Roman Reigns' title. MJF beats Adam Cole for the WWE Championship, making him a double champion. I only get to say it once. And in our main event, the Elite beat the Bloodline for control of Monday Night Raw. Cole, Barrett, and Schiavone are stunned as Jim Ross in his iconic cowboy hat says, "Join us on Monday for Monday Night Dynamite." Vince McMahon, the one who no one thought was losing, has lost. Over the next couple of days, the dirt sheets announce ahead of time the following. Armageddon on the WWE schedule has been replaced by Full Gear. Raw will be moving to TBS and will be overseen by Triple H. The Royal Rumble has been replaced with a Casino Battle Royale. Vince McMahon has been given an indefinite leave of absence following his loss, leading to speculation as to what is kayfabe and what is real, and commentary is getting a shakeup. We open up to next week's Monday Night Raw with Jim Ross shouting at the top of his lungs, "We are live from Corpus Christi, and it is time for Monday Night Dynamite." I'm Jim Ross alongside Tony Schiavone and Corey Graves. Dynamite opens up with Tony Khan, who welcomes himself and AEW to the USA Network. There are so many people he'd like to thank for this opportunity. He calls out WB Discovery, the Elite, MJF, Dave Meltzer's, all the podcasters interviewing his stars, and most importantly, the AEW roster and their fans for making Monday nights packed with Dynamite. Survivor Series was just the beginning. See, Tony Khan doesn't want WWE to go away. Not only can you catch them on Wednesday night, but you can also catch them week after week after week after week on the TBS channel, whatever the case may be. For the month of December, it is broken that morale improves under a Vinceless regime, with the exception of a few. Charlotte Flair, MJF goes back to being an asshole. The Judgment Day, Braun Breaker, etc. Vince McMahon gets SmackDown back through a hostile takeover and lies in wait while his supporters scour the globe for more supporters. Vince McMahon is never down and out. Vince McMahon never says die. Tony Khan gets into a very heated Twitter fight with WWE fans, producers, and podcasters' attitudes, catches the attention of NBC execs who are uneasy and enforce some of Vince's policies. which angered Tony Khan. Go to Endeavor. Tony Khan rewards Omega, the Bucks, and Hangman shots at MJF's World Heavyweight Championship and or Adam Cole's WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Stars complained that they weren't in a contenders match, contrary to AEW startups. Walter versus Reigns is set, but due to Triple H's insistence, no bloodline, it's time to see what Roman can do on his own. Tenille Dashwood regularly defends her WWE Women's Championship on Raw. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte, and Bianca try for it and fail, all while Tenille is free to be Tenille. Asuka is an unhinged individual who fights through Becky Lynch, Zoe Stark, Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan before demanding more savage competition. Shawn Michaels brokers a deal to get her exactly what she's looking for, Asuka versus Deonna Purrazzo, proclaiming, hey, on AEW with the guy running it now, she wouldn't be TV ready. But I saw something in her then, and I see something in her now. Full Gear looks like this. MJF defends against Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. Adam Cole defends against the Bucks. Walter beats Roman Reigns. Asuka beats Deonna Purrazzo. Danhausen beats Ricochet for the #1 contendership to the IC belt. How does Danhausen get the shot? Danhausen wins a shot at any championship he chooses because shut up, and breaks the news on Bodyslams and Dropkicks. Danhausen then gets spooked by Omos after his win. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter beat Anna Jay and Tay Mello to become the AEW Women's Tag Team Champions because shut up, you want it, you know you want it. Blackpool Combat Club are the trios champions. They challenge the only 3 members of the Bloodline who matter to a match at Royal Rumble or Casino Battle Royal, whatever the case may be. In January, Tony Khan holds a meeting with Ari Emanuel saying that AEW has proven itself to be a better fit than the WWE, but Ari refuses to outright purchase them. It is here when Tony Khan sheds the nice guy facade and says that AEW has taken WWE's top championships, some of its top stars, and its very top of the line and treasured Monday Night Television spot. There is nothing stopping Tony from taking over everything. Vince's rebel forces are growing, and Triple H's and Tony Khan's relationship begins to degrade. Casino Battle Royal, it is found out, is not replacing Royal Rumble. The dirt sheets got this one wrong. Royal Rumble is increasing to 40 members. Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, etc. declare they're going to win the Royal Rumble. Tony Khan uses Triple H oversight of Raw to insert AEW wrestlers into Royal Rumble qualifying matches. At the end of the day, Cody Rhodes wins the men's Royal Rumble. He'll challenge MJF for the WWE and World Championship, exploiting a technicality. MJF is a double champion. Saraya wins the WWE Women's Royal Rumble, will challenge Asuka. Walter beats McIntyre for the WWE Championship. The Combat Club, Danielson, Wheeler Yuta, and Cesaro beat the Bloodline. And in the Royal Rumble, it is clear that AEW came in with an agenda, given no one knew where Cody Rhodes was. All of Vince's invaders were eliminated. The only people in the final 10 who are in the WWE camp are Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, and Seth Rollins. Vince tells Triple H to get his head out of his ass that if Tony Khan gets full control of WWE, he'll screw Triple H just like Vince did. February, it is outright war across both brands. Dirt sheets announce the battle lines are drawn. WWE versus AEW at WrestleMania. Not even the dirt sheets can keep up with who's going where and why. Ari Emanuel says he's called in with the one guy who has had the best interest of the company in his mind all along, Shawn Michaels, to meet with talent and meet with the only reasonable person in the AEW camp, Triple H. AEW announces Starrcade will air the night after Elimination Chamber to spite WWE, where Tony Khan will have a major announcement. Elimination Chamber happens and all champions retain. What is important is that Eddie Kingston wins a men's Elimination Chamber for the shot at Walter's WWE Championship. Starrcade occurs. Tony Khan announces that AEW has had this plan all along. He used Triple H connections to get talents in and flush Vince out. He used his top-ranking superstars to give WWE a fight, and he has gelded WWE of every ounce of its dignity. And that at WrestleMania, he has brokered a deal. 2 nights, 18 matches, and a 19th if necessary. 1 tournament for all the marbles. He also fires Triple H, fearing a mole. Vince McMahon appears and said that he would have to pry WWE away from his cold, dead hands. If Ari wins, he gets WWE back all to himself, and that AEW and the Khans will never, and I mean ever, attempt a hostile takeover of WWE again. If AEW wins, WWE is out of business forever. Tony Khan also forfeits his role as head of All Elite Wrestling to Vince McMahon or whoever he chooses to run the place. It's winner take all. Vince goes to work, fearing AEW's women's division. But since Vince is against the wall, you get to see JR destroying Vince on the mic, being made to kiss his ass because JR can never be heel. We see Trish Stratus offering to help her services because when it comes to the women's division, WWE hasn't had much luck. However, she demands that Vince McMahon personally bark like a dog. We see AEW recruit Mickie James. The final Raw before WrestleMania, The Undertaker returns to rally the troops. We see Shawn Michaels bring in Triple H, which is successful as Triple H returns the SmackDown before WrestleMania to HBK, who is waiting with open arms. The dirt sheets are reporting that the rumored match will be the executive president of WWE versus the president of AEW. WWE offices in Stanford are looking at remodeling. The talent are on edge. Everything you can imagine to further the storyline will happen. The stakes of WrestleMania are as high as possible. Finally, the WrestleMania card looks like this. Walter retains the WWE Championship against Eddie Kingston. Danhausen wins a six-pack challenge to unify the Intercontinental and North American Championships because Danhausen won. The Intercontinental Champion is vacated. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter beat Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. The Women's Tag Team Championships are vacated. Kevin Owens, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly beat Sami Zayn and the Usos. The Blackpool Combat Club beat Lashley, Montez Ford, and Angelo Dawkins in a six-man no-hold-barred tag team match. Asuka beats Saraya. Roxanne Perez beats Tennille Dashwood. The Acclaim beat Imperium. And to end night one, Kenny Omega beats Roman Reigns in the main event. Roman Reigns lays beaten, bloody, and battered as night one comes to a close. Night two opens not with Vince McMahon, but Triple H and Shawn Michaels rallying their troops. Shawn has been with his company since 1988. He's tried to make it better from the outside and from the inside for you, me, and all of them. If you think Tony Khan cares about the WWE, you're dead wrong. All Tony Khan cares about now is numbers, days, reigns. We may be down, but we're not out. There are 9 matches tonight. We need 7. For Shawn, for me, and for this company of over 70 years, let's do this. Night 2 opens with Trish Stratus versus Mickie James, where Trish beats Mickie. AEW's up 6-4. What's important is Mickie says all she really wanted to do was wrestle Trish Stratus one more time before she retired, and that she is proud of this whole. She is proud not to be a part of this whole WWE AEW mess, and that if Trish really wanted to see some real competition, nothing was stopping her from making an impact. Toni Storm beats Charlotte Flair. Theory retains the U.S. Championship against Orange Cassidy. John Cena beats Chris Jericho. Tay Mello and Anna Jay beat Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Grayson Waller defeats Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Seth Rollins beats Hangman Page. Bullet Club Gold win a tag team gauntlet match, last eliminating the New Day. Vince McMahon is heartbroken at this point because there's only one match left. Triple H says to trust him. He told Vince it is time to end it before, that Vince's time has come, and to trust in Triple H, who trusts Cody. MJF comes to the ring for the main event and says he's glad the Acclaimed won, because now he has a chance to embarrass and humiliate WWE, that he will be forever known as Vince McMahon's biggest loss, and the instrument of WWE's destruction. Cody Rhodes versus MJF begins, and it starts to look really grim. Ending up Cody Rhodes beating MJF in a 40-minute classic. WWE and AEW are tied 9-9. The final surprise match is up. The president of AEW versus the president of WWE. It is here wherein Tony Khan makes his way to the ring. No chance hits, and Vince McMahon says it's an honor and a privilege to have been chairman and president of the WWE, and that he personally would like to thank Mr. Khan for reminding him that he is no spring chicken, that Vince McMahon would be willing to give Tony Khan to WWE when he pried it from his cold dead hands, which unfortunately he isn't going to give to some daddy's boy because he just closed a deal that as of 5 minutes ago, Vince McMahon is no longer president of the WWE. Someone has shown me He has the heart, the gumption, the guts, and dare I say, the grapefruits to run this company better than I could right here and now. The new president of WWE is this man. Behold the King of Kings blares as Triple H is in ring gear one more time. Tony Khan turns white as with one pedigree, Triple H and the WWE stand tall and proud. After this storyline, WWE and AEW allow AEW to participate at WrestleMania and WWE to participate at Forbidden Door. Vince McMahon is well and truly retired, having had one last storyline and admittedly one last payday for doing it. MJF returns to WrestleMania the following year and wins. Adam Cole is legitimized as a star. AEW is seen on WWE's level, and hopefully some semblance of kayfabe will be restored based on the reliance of the dirt sheets. But that's it.
So, what I'm getting from this
Yes.
is that all of this is to get Vince McMahon out.
Yes. And legitimize AEW as being on WWE's level.
Yeah, but mostly to get Vince McMahon out.
Yes.
You know you could just solve that by killing Vince McMahon.
That was lame. I thought of killing Vince McMahon, but then I thought to myself, no, it's gotta at least have some chance of happening. You can't just kill Vince McMahon and make it into a storyline. They tried that once, and then Benoit died, and the whole thing got screwed up.
No, I just mean actually killing him. Just hire a hitman.
Nah.
Not a Bret the Hitman.
I was gonna say the only hitman I know is Bret Hart, and he probably couldn't do the job.
He wasn't a very good hitman.
But anyway, what do you think of the storyline other than that?
Other than that, I think it's pretty decent. I have a lot of memory or like retaining info issues, but no, I think it's pretty decent. Lots of fights and wars going on. Why not?
Yeah. All right. Now we get to hear your story.
Okay, but it's very, very complicated. I don't know if you'll be able to wrap your head around it.
That's fine.
It's very complicated. Okay, week 1.
Yes.
Gonna start with Welcome to Raw is Jericho. Break the Walls Down is gonna play. Jericho's going to walk out to the ring, going to walk around the ring a couple times, grab a mic, roll into the ring, go to speak into the mic, point at the Titantron where a clock is going to start counting down.
Okay.
Drops the mic, walks out. Every week after that, for at least until the pay-per-view, he walks out, does the same thing as the clock shows up, still counting down. At the first pay-per-view, there's going to be the World Heavyweight title match going on against, honestly, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Break the Walls Down is going to start playing in the middle of that match. He's going to walk out, walk around the ring, look at the title, put it down, walk back out. This is going to happen pretty much every Monday on Raw, because it's only going to be Raw that this happens on, and every pay-per-view up until SummerSlam. SummerSlam comes around. The clock starts ticking down at the beginning of the show. Jericho walks out, stands in the middle of the ring, grins, points one more time as the clock resets, walks back without saying anything again.
Is this like the WWE's interpretation of the Bloodline? Like I'm on the edge of my seat.
No. This is more entertaining.
Like, this is much more entertaining. I'm sorry. I'm on the edge of my seat at this point. What is this clock? What is Jericho going to do?
Who knows? And basically, it's just going to keep happening until WrestleMania.
Okay.
And at WrestleMania, the clock strikes 0 and Judas starts to play. Jericho walks out in the middle of the main event of WrestleMania, grabs the mic, says, "Yeah, this is mine," grabs the belt, and just leaves.
Oh
And
my
that's my
god.
year-long Invasion storyline.
Oh my god. Okay. I've got a couple of
I know
questions.
there's a
Okay.
lot to unpack. There's a lot
So
to unpack.
I'm gonna start with the first pay-per-view, okay, when
Okay.
Jericho gets in the belt, or when Jericho comes down, picks up the belt and says no and puts it back down. Is it
Yeah.
because the match going on is Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn and Jericho loves and respects both of them? Or
No,
is it
it
because he's got a
doesn't
feud,
matter who it is.
or is it because he's got an ongoing internal feud with the music guy for giving him the wrong champion, for giving him the wrong entrance? Like he's
Neither
been
of those.
campaigning for Judas for a long time.
It's none of that.
If that's the case, then why does
It's
Judas
just
play
not the
WrestleMania?
right time because it was a year-long build.
Okay. And so it's a year long build to Judas, not Jericho.
Yeah.
Okay. Um uh,
And
uh,
the only time he talks, besides at the end there, is at the first Monday Night Raw where he opens up.
okay. All right, so we've got a year long mute Jericho coming in and finally
Yep.
stealing the title at the end. Um, does he have a Money in the Bank briefcase?
No.
Does he at any point come up with a list of Jericho?
No.
Does he at any point come out with a bunch of mimosas and drinking the bubbly?
No.
Does he at any point come out with his little fedora thing from the Jericho Appreciation Society?
No.
Well, this is just groundbreaking stuff, man. I don't know.
Right? I
I don't know
know
how you. I don't
it's
know how you can
fantastic.
improve this.
I don't think there's a way to do it. That's why, I just left it like that.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Yep.
We know these things are hard to do.
Yeah.
1,000% difficult, hard to do. We know that life happens.
Yep.
Make sure that when we have these things and we do these things, go ahead, criticize them however you want. If you can do better, please be my guest.
Yeah,
But
mine honestly, I struggled figuring out what to do,
yeah,
and the literally first thing that I had was Jericho walks out, says, "Welcome to Monday Night Jericho." There was gonna be a lot more, but my brain just could not.
get past Jericho.
No, it's not that I couldn't get past Jericho. I just could not figure out how to do anything like this. It's not my
Yeah,
forte or anything
no,
like that.
yeah,
I'm much better at just sitting here talking about things, but
yeah,
retaining information, booking things like that, it's not my forte. I know it. That's why I don't freaking do
yeah,
it or
yeah.
even try to do it.
What are you talking about? You
Uh,
you you
I
successfully
have,
booked a year long storyline. We've got no idea what the feud is,
yeah.
but you booked one. Thing
The
is,
feud is an internal struggle with Jericho,
yeah, it's Jericho.
obviously.
Now, what I want to know though is what is he struggling against?
Himself,
Personal
obviously.
demons or his constant reinventions?
Why can't it be both? I mean, have
Because
you seen the Painmaker gimmick? That's a personal demon.
have you seen the list of Jericho? You told me he wouldn't come out with that,
Yeah,
or with the scarf or the vest, or
because he's struggling,
ah. Does he come out in street clothes?
obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect. Okay, that makes sense now.
it
I'm
should
sorry.
be
I'm sorry.
meant to mention the belt he grabs at the end is the undisputed championship that he held way back in the day,
Okay. Okay.
and
So
that's
they
how he
brought.
finds himself again.
Did they bring out a replica undisputed belt, or is it the real one from '02?
It's the real one.
Oh, nice, nice. Okay.
Yeah,
So all this time is Jericho's struggle with himself to find his belt and reclaim who he was.
yeah.
Better than the bloodline.
Yeah.
especially at this stage. But no, make sure, for whatever reason, to come out and try this stuff and go out on a limb. Okay. It doesn't matter whether or not the storyline is good or bad. This is just what we think we could do if we were put in the WWE writers or AEW writers position, given literally infinite resources. It's a lot harder than it looks. There are some storylines we love, other storylines we hate, but take the risks
Yeah, there's a
and
lot that was scrapped for me just because I couldn't
yeah,
figure out how to build to it.
and try to build these things yourself. Let you know, the important thing is don't try to cower away from it or chicken out from it. Lean into it however you want to do it. In my case, it was lean into the fact that this is a year-long storyline to get rid of Vince McMahon and restore the dirt sheets. And I feel like I've done that in some capacity. It's not perfect by any means, but I feel like I feel like this storyline would do it if it were ever ran. For Ben, it was lean into the absurdity because
Yep.
this was almost an impossible task. And so, what do you do to lean into the absurdity? Have a storyline based around nothing turn into an internal struggle of a man, a wrestling legend, attempting to find himself by invading where he was in order to get that. There's a lot you can do with that. For Dean, it's, I don't know, The Undertaker has coffee, and that's about it. He has a coffee and a tea with Tony Khan. Good time was had by all. I don't know. But at the end of the day, don't be afraid, take risks. That's what helps you grow and evolve as a person, as a podcast, whatever the case may be. Thank you so much for listening to us for weeks upon weeks upon weeks upon months upon months upon months. We will be back to your regularly scheduled, not scheduled programming starting next week. And if you like
Hopefully.
us, well, who knows? Who knows at any point? Work can
Yeah.
happen, life can happen,
Yeah,
and you
unfortunately.
can sit here for an hour wondering, are you actually going to podcast today? Who knows? But at the end of the day, if you like what we do, you can find us on DGen Wrestling on TikTok, DGen Wrestling on YouTube. If you like what I do and want to commission me for some voiceover projects, www.deathpixie.ca, best way to get a hold of me.
And you can find me at DGen Sigma on socials.
Thank
Most
you
of them, at
so
least.
Thank you so much for listening, and don't be afraid to tune into our segment, Wrestling Weekly, which is coming very soon to a YouTube channel near us. Thank you so much, everybody.